Other teams, they've come and gone. The ones that are still around, they just sit around and do nothing. Rival Gaming is not one of those teams, guys, and that's why we are blessed to have this event right now, the Rival StarCraft League Season 2. So, yeah, man, show your support. And here we go. Game number 2. Vonnie Research Station, guys. Terran Heaven. Let's see if that's going to be good enough for this player right here. Purple Terran on the very top. Representing Team Gravity down 0-1. Let's see if he can even the score here. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Sonic. And against him is going to be the red Zerg. Ubs 1-0, just absolutely shutting down every single drop. Can he continue that really smart play here? Playing for Brawl Esports on the bottom of Vonnie, guys. It's KiToO. So I gotta say, it's demoralizing. It really is when you're in the position of Terran and everything you try just gets shut down. That's more or less what happened last game. It really is. And, you know, just as a Terran player myself these days, if that happens to me, I'm just like, oh, man, I don't even want to play this game anymore because you know you're going to fall behind. If you don't get work done, you just lose your units, right? I mean, that much is obvious. But for players on the level of this guy right here, for instance, you have to have a short memory. You can't dwell on that, you know, that game, you know, previously. You have to just move forward and remember too that it's a best of 5. There's a long way to go, and hell, you're playing on Vonnie Research Station. So, I mean, if there is a map for you to really just sort of gather yourself and calm down and stabilize on, it'd be this one. So let's see what the players are doing on it. We do have KiToO going with the 15 hatch. And something I've been seeing from players a lot lately, Zergs in particular, of course, on this map, is they expand in that outer direction, right? So, you know, you have that in-base natural, but that natural doesn't necessarily do much for you as far as creep spread, as far as, you know, getting out reinforcements to wherever you're attacking on the map. So I see Zergs these days liking to expand out of their main base and then eventually take that gold, right? Or not gold, sorry. Just, yeah, actually, I do see players take the gold. So again, having the natural closer to that does help. But we're not seeing that here from KiToO. He's playing a little more typical, going with the in-base natural and then adding on pulling gas. So we're going to be seeing a speed opener from him again. As far as things go for Sonic, looks like he's opened up with the Reaper this time. So smaller map. His thinking is, I'll just open, you know, with a little bit of harassment this time because Cactus, you know, I think he can get away with a little more greed. This game, maybe not so much. So this Reaper right here, just almost killing off that drone, but not quite finishing the job. Gonna have to now kite these slowlings, of course, staying off creep. And so far, KiToO doing pretty good on defending the Reaper. Of course, there's going to be a second one soon. It's making its way down here right now. And that might just give Sonic a little added firepower to perhaps finally kill some things. He's killed some lings, but no workers yet. Second Reaper has arrived. Sonic's going to cut the Reaper count at just 2 because he is going to move right into Factory Reactor as well as 3rd CC. So in a lot of ways, even though he didn't open with CC first, he's actually playing even more economically in this one by going for that earlier 3rd CC. So last game, Sonic went for, you know, he's staying on 2 base a little longer, got up to the Banshee, made 2 Banshees. And I'd say the first half of that went really well for him. That first Banshee did a good number of damage, right? But then if he had just left it at that, that would have been awesome. But then he got the second Banshee, and it was shut down by the Mutas. And then he was on 2 base for so long at that point. Yeah, he opened up CC first, but it doesn't last you until 13 minutes. It was like 13:30. He only took that 3rd then, and still needed to wait for the creep to recede as he took out the Overlord, blocking it. And then basically the mid game, yeah, of course, his drops, I've talked about this so many times, how his drops were shut down. But on top of that, you could also say that his macro wasn't where it needed to be because he just didn't have the economy. Because a lot of times Terrans, they'll throw drops away, but back at home they'll still have a nice chunk of army because they've been able to finance continued production, right? But Sonic couldn't quite make that happen, so everything just kind of avalanche, snowballed for him. This game, he's going to just make sure he gets that economy he needs. 3 base. Right now, continuing to get in some harassment and scouting with this Reaper. And KiToO, once again, is going to do 2 base Spire. So that's all but confirmed now here for Sonic, as he just leaves Reaper to die. It's done its job. And, well, Sonic here is going to have to start getting up some anti-air. He's got 4 Hellions over here. Going to bring another 2, it looks like. But, of course, on Vonnie Research Station, if your opponent is taking that in-base natural, it's not hard for him to defend if he doesn't have a third to worry about. Because that ramp, super easy to block with just a couple queens. By this time, they have some transfuses in them. So I would imagine that Sonic can't break in this too easily. Although, I will say this. The energy doesn't... It's not infinite. So, well, Hellions making their way in here. But still, tough. Very tough for these Hellions to do much. Oh, they actually made their way into the mineral line, and they're starting to stack up those flames. Can we see some workers killed here for Sonic? 8 workers killed in total. 9, as his Hellion count is now down to 3. Makes his exit. And I guess the other thing, too, is just with this contain, while he had the contain, not now, he has to go home at this point, but while he had the contain, he was able to contain the creep. So we're seeing KiToO now having to lay down 3 tumors, or 2 tumors at once to get that going again. But now we're on to the next phase of the game soon. That phase being mutas are coming. So we're seeing those turrets now pop up from Sonic. And of course, he saw that Spire progression. He knew at which point the mutas would actually be coming. So until you know for sure those mutas are actually going to arrive, you don't need to make your turrets too soon because you're going to delay something else that you wanted to make, whether it was depots or units. So here we go. Turrets finished now for Sonic, as the first few mutas are going to arrive. And yeah, hostile welcome, no doubt. Oh, the Widow Mine hit. Killing off 1 muta. Just slightly weakening these, and Sonic should be in good position here to defend. Did lose an SCV in that skirmish, but yeah, KiToO with those mutas not being able to do too much. But you know what? As we saw last game, KiToO doesn't necessarily need to harass your mineral lines and stuff with his mutas to make them valuable, because mutas are just as good at defending drops, and if they can just make a living doing that all game, I think Zergs will be pretty happy with that. So let's see if KiToO will be able to keep up that kind of play during this mid-game as we're heading into it. So third being taken now by Sonic, and this is a much better time for it, right? Around 10:30. Looks like he's still going to wait for creep to recede. It's a little bit late, but a lot better than last game. Last game he was stuck on 2 base for like 13:30. He took his second base really early, right? So he's dropping mules longer on those mineral lines, mining them out faster. So this time around, I think he should be in better shape economically. He's going to actually push out a little bit, or does he choose to back off? No, he's pushing. He's pushing right now. And look at the creep spread. Big difference from last game, right? Last game, Cactus Valley, KiToO just kind of was able to get those tumors out there. This time around, a little more confined to his area of the map. And so Sonic is going to be able to at least venture this far out without being seen. Now, of course, KiToO knows. Can KiToO defend? He does have Baneling Tech ready. How many Banelings does he have? He has a good amount. He's going to stay on creep, though. Banelings don't have centrifugal hooks yet. Or maybe not. He just went to set off the Widow Mine. Okay, so Sonic here going to try to fight against this army. Banelings rolling in. Splitting Sonic is. But he's going to see this get cleaned up. So just enough units there from KiToO ready to defend. And Sonic is going to have to start replacing them. So the supplies are even. KiToO did have to, expend a bit of resources and larva and all that into that defense, which is why it went so well for him. But it's not like he's ahead or anything like that. It's actually very even right now. And I think this is a position that Sonic can't afford to be in, because usually Zergs are, a good 15 to 25 supply ahead of Terran in the mid game, because that's just kind of how it's balanced, right? The Zerg units are cheaper, they're made a little faster, and that's usually what is the case. But again, he had to commit to that defense. It went really well for him, but it still comes at some sort of cost. But now he's gonna fly over to the right side, and the drops fly right past those mutas and have to go back. And KiToO, again, he's gonna. Is this the start of him just shutting down all these drops again? We'll have to see. Right now, these Marines are moving their way down the left-hand side, and they're gonna catch this Overlord. Sonic will be able to take that out. And the Overlord spread, guys, is really key. I mean, KiToO having that Overlord on the right side, right above that gold, that's a big deal. Scouting anything that goes past it. This is kind of a scenario which makes you remember that. Well, before I talk about this, we're gonna have an engagement right here. Widowmine's forcing the units of KiToO off, and rightfully so. I mean, there's really not much here for KiToO to go after just yet. But to continue my earlier point, back in the day, you had Terran players make that one Viking to just scout around and just clean up Overlords. That's one thing I haven't seen Sonic do, and that may lead to him, not being able to get some of these drops out, because KiToO really just has good map vision right now. It really does. I mean, even that gold right now, the Overlord is just chilling there. Just chilling there and nothing's stopping it. But you know what? Sonic, he's going to go for an attack over here on the left side. KiToO should be seeing it coming. He did lose a few units over there in the mid-center, the center area of the map, and now he's going to, of course, know that this is here. Creep cleaning up going on right now. Centrifugal hooks, Banelings going after the Marines, which are sort of split, but not anymore. Oh, the Banelings roll in. Still 3 more. That could be huge if Sonic doesn't micro them well. Oh, man, a huge chunk of those Marines taken out. And that is unfortunate for him. That did not go well for Sonic at all. Really didn't. He's still keeping up with his macro, but that shouldn't have been that many units lost. But what can these do here for Sonic? With the Banelings all extinguished, well, save for that one. That actually got a good hit. But Sonic here is seeing some of his units kind of split apart, and right now he's running for his life. He's fallen behind now. These last couple of engagements did not go very well for him, and he's going to have to try to hold down a defense here. Shouldn't have a problem with that, with defender's advantage, but with the game being so close in supply, it was actually a better position for Sonic. But now, after these last 2 engagements, I think it's safe to say that KiToO here is, right where he wants to be now. So I think those 2 engagements really worked out in his favor. He's going to be able to clean up these Widowmines as he is able to just set them off with a small number of throwaway lings. And Sonic here just going to have to take out these changelings. That's amusing. Usually we see Zerg's block expansions with creep or burrowed lings, but changelings, you don't see that as often. So Sonic cleans that up. Sonic continuing a macro here. As much army as he's lost, he hasn't really seen any damage done to his economy, so he's still able to macro and just crank out units nonstop here. And he needs to stay cost effective from here on out, but otherwise, he's still doing okay for himself. KiToO now taking that 4th base, finished there, gold, mining to it. Oh my gosh, this base has been shut down here by KiToO. I mean, missile turrets are great, but against this number of mutas, focusing them down is not too big of a deal, guys. And we are seeing this natural just get ravaged. And Sonic is going to have to wait for some more Marines to arrive and try to chase off these mutas. And we will see that be the case. So a nice flyby there by KiToO. And Sonic's going to have to rebuild that. Lost quite a few SCVs in that. So that was the first bit of damage done to Sonic's economy all game. 18 workers killed in total, which is a good amount. Sonic's going to have to, go overtime with the mules to make up for it. Now we see KiToO over here with a maxed army of Mutaling Bling, trying to get ready to attack this base. These SCVs are in trouble right now. Oh, not repairing those missile turrets. But with the Marines in the area, KiToO just has to back off with his Muta army. What about outside here? I think Sonic, is he looking to attack with part of his army? I don't know. But what about his 3rd base? Sorry, guys. No missile turrets here. Sonic didn't see this as a base that would be attacked, but it was. And KiToO took off quite a chunk of workers there. Right now, Sonic trying to move his way across the right side of the map. and was scouted because of the tower being taken by KiToO. Now Sonic's going to move on to this fourth base. KiToO, no doubt, will want to defend this. This is the gold base, guys, not just your average mining location. Can Sonic micro a lot better than we've seen from him so far. He is trying to split his Marines as best as he can. There's a lot of Banelings, and looks like Sonic has done a much better job against these this time around. Fantastic splits from him, but are there enough Marines on the ground to deal with the Mutas? There are still more Banelings on the high ground right now, and Sonic is still trying to lure them to attack. Ooh, the nice Widow Mine hit. That was fantastic, taking out a huge chunk of Banelings, and that means Sonic here is able to continue pushing for now. Oh, those Widow Mines are doing massive hits on those Mutas, and now even the Mutas have to hesitate in attacking this. No, KiToO's going to go after it, just thinking that those Lings will help out. Is this going to be a good maneuver for him? I'm seeing a lot less Mutas than I did before. Whoa, my goodness. Look at those Manor Mules, ladies and gentlemen. These Marines are red and orange in health, but man, this engagement really turned things around here for Sonic, and we are seeing a GG. Sonic evening up the score 1-1. So we saw a slight shift in strategy in game 2 from Sonic. He did attempt that one drop, which was shut down, and he didn't try it again. So in his mind, he's like, I'm just going to play through the ground. I'll micro 2 armies if I need to, but the drops weren't working last game. So let's stick more to, just typical army movement. And it worked out a lot better for him. I think the other thing, too, is that the 3-base economy made a huge difference. Because, as Terran, you got to get aggressive mid-game, right? But you can't, it's not like you can expect every single attempt to be good. And if it doesn't work, you have to find a way to weather that loss. On 2-base economy at 13 minutes, you can't. You really can't make up for it. But even though we saw, a couple of less than favorable engagements for Sonic in game 2, he was able to still weather that loss, continue to crank out units and stay in the game. And then, just one good engagement for him at the end was able to get him that victory, as we saw. I mean, the Widow Mine hits were on point. When that huge chunk of Banelings exploded, I was like, oh man, that's huge. That's so big, because without Banelings, it's not the same. It really, really is, especially when we're talking about 3-3 Marines at the end there. You can surround them with as many Lings as you want. You'll just see the rings of Zerglings just sort of dissolve as the Marines still kind of stand strong. So, and then after that, you're left with Mutas, and the Mutas took huge hits with the Widow Mines. The Widow Mines really did in KiToO that game, I have to say. And he